Hello, I think it is about darn time that I do like an official video announcement. Let's talk about the huge amount of changes that have happened in my life, and the reason that I haven't been streaming as much. I have not been really uploading anything, and when I do stream, the schedule is totally different. It's all good news as far as like I'm concerned. But I've just been so busy with it that it has prevented me from kind of making this video. And the other thing that has prevented me from making like this video is that I'm really bad at like writing a script and then reading it and then like thinking about editing while I'm I got it. I'm just talking here, right? I had to finally, I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to press record and I'm going to talk to you for a minute. Okay. So, if you were watching my streams in like April and June, I was already talking about the thing that was coming, which was the fact that I needed to go back to regular work. I streamed full-time on Twitch. That was my job for about 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. And it was great. I had a great time. The community was amazing, and really like I can't thank everybody enough for how much support I got during that time and like enabling me to do that as my job. Right? It was super cool. Really unforgettable. However, the channel growth didn't really go high enough for me to like move forward in my life though. Basically, the channel grew up to the point where I was able to pay my bills, but I was not able to like have a safety net in case anything happened to me or my car or my wife or anything like that, right? There was no like extra safety. And so that caused a lot of anxiety, you know, the idea where it's like, okay, I'm floating, but I don't have a plan if anything upsets the equilibrium, you know? So there was a lot of anxiety involved with that. But then also on top of that, really wanted to then also like move forward with my life though, and like that had to do with wanting to buy a house and maybe start a family, right? And so like in order to be able to enable that in my life, I needed more income, you know? And so that, you know, the obvious solution to that as someone who has been a computer network engineer for 10 years is, well, let's go back to my career, you know, let's, I had an amazing time with the full-time streaming. But it is time to get back into my actual career. And so, in July, so that's what happened in July. That's number one, the thing that happened where, all of a sudden I'm not streaming during the day, every day anymore, is because now I'm working, my job again. And it's a lot different this time, and it's been great as far as the job is concerned. I used to always work on a contract basis, like contract to contract, and that was part of what allowed me to go into Twitch streaming, was the fact that my contract ended, and I thought, maybe I'll take a little bit of time off this time before finding a new one. And I'll just focus on streaming for a little while. And then that little while turned into 2 years because Final Fantasy VII speedrunning kind of took off, and that was great. And that's kind of how that happened, right? But now, this time, though, I found like an actual full-time employment position, right? Where I am now like a salaried employee, and I've got, kind of the benefits of that compared to contract work. So super excited about it. And, you know, it's something that like kind of like contextualizes the rest of my life, you know, like it's no longer this contract is a year or it's 6 months or something, and so I'm gonna, what's gonna happen then, right? Now it's like, what's gonna happen when I'm 60 and I'm retiring, or, you know what I mean? Like if it is at that time, right? Which is a much larger amount of time, like the scope of the life ahead of me, right? Barring any anything crazy happening is really really different than what I'm used to as far as that goes, but in a good way, in a way that I'm really, really excited for. So that was thing number one of immediately I am no longer streaming during the day. But the thing is, I love streaming, right? It's my number one hobby. I think about it all the time. I think about you guys all the time. Love gaming, and when I'm gaming, it's more fun if I'm streaming than if I'm not, generally. And so that's kind of why I stream so much, is because, it's like if I'm gonna sit down and play a game, I'd rather be streaming it, right? So that's why it's my hobby. And the thing is, though, so you would expect, right, and the plan is that if I'm working full-time during the day, okay, well, then streams are just going to move to the evenings then, but not 5 days a week anymore, right? Because I gotta balance with other aspects of my life, but, still a few days a week at least. And the reason that was not happening for a while at first, right at first, was because new job, right, was taking up a lot of time. Then my wife and I started house shopping, and we found a house, and we bought a house. So here we are in the new house, by the way, if you've already noticed that the setting is different than it used to be. We got a house. And so that took up a lot of time, because of course there was the shopping for the house, right? And then after that, there was all the back and forth with the realtor about putting together the offer, and then waiting until, if they accept it, and then going back and forth with all the details about the offer, right? And then actually getting to the point of, I don't even really remember all the details anymore, but it was constantly busy, not able to take much time off, and then of course once all the papers are signed and we have the place, well, now it's time for going through all of our old stuff and what are we keeping, what are we getting rid of, cleaning the new house, shampooing all the carpets and mopping and all that, and then moving the furniture over, packing up all of our stuff, moving that stuff over, cleaning the old place, shampooing all that stuff and cleaning all that, dealing with the old rental company about this or that needed to get fixed. Oh, but this, it says in the lease that we don't need to cover, so all that kind of communication. And then of course, okay, so now we're in the new place, setting up the furniture, setting up the studio, buying new furniture for the new space that we have. I've been working on a project here of running Ethernet through the house, and that isn't even complete yet. I got a hole in the ceiling here that's got a bunch of Ethernet cables dangling down with jack. I punched the jacks on, but I'm not done yet, so I don't have the wall plate on yet, and because I got more Ethernet to run to get a wireless access point in the middle of the house, right? So all kinds of projects, Oh, and of course, now this means now being so I rented for ever, right? Since I was 18 and I moved out, right? I've been renting. So now being a homeowner, it's now, right, on top of being able to do projects like the Ethernet project, we're also okay, well, now I need to get a lawnmower, right? Well, first it was I need to get a rake, because it was the fall, and and now, okay, well, now we raked up all these leaves and they're huge gigantic piles. What are we going to do with all these leaves? So then I had to get a mulcher, and now it's the winter, so we got to get a snowblower, and that's just on top of all the other stuff. So basically what I'm saying is becoming a first-time homeowner has just been a tremendous amount of time and work put into it, and that's what has been stopping me from doing very much streaming and gaming kind of stuff. Now, but it's great though. It's also, for me, it's also good news. This is a huge step forward in my life, because once again, just like going from contract to full-time work, right? And the way that that changes like the scope of my objective, right? Same thing with a home. It's no longer my lease ends at the end of the year. Are we gonna renew it? And now it's I own this home that as far as I'm concerned, I could live here till I die, you know? And like it's such a different kind of thing. So like it's good news for me. Lastly, there is a third huge update that I want to give, and it is really, really, really good news that deserves a video of its own, and I will probably make a video of it on its own. But to just be like as brief as I can be about it here, or at least like keep the scope reasonable of what I'm talking about, my wrists are better. That's it. After I started streaming full time, a little while into it, if you were a regular watcher of the stream, you might remember I quite suddenly developed chronic wrist pain. And I didn't really think that it was because of speedrunning, and I didn't really know what it was about, you know. And at some point, like, is it tendonitis and it'll go away? No, it's been too long. I stopped drumming immediately, but that didn't make it better. I stopped mashing and started running turbo FF7, but that didn't help it. And it was just like, I got this wrist pain and nothing made it go away. No matter how much I rested my hands, no matter how much I did like contrast baths and iced them when needed. And like I tried all these different things. I saw several specialists that like gave me different exercises to do, and just nothing helped until eventually I was told that it was carpal tunnel. And even though carpal tunnel usually is just numbness, well, yeah, it does cause pain for some people. So I got carpal tunnel surgery last October. And of course, that had a long healing process just to get over the surgery. But then even once I was over that initial impact, it still wasn't better. And until eventually I saw, just to give like the shortest version of the story of how it got better, is when I got my new job. And so I had like proper medical insurance again. I went to, as opposed to the insurance that I was on before, that was like turbo garbage, but that's especially out of scope for this video. I went to my doctor for like a regular physical checkup, right? And he told me that my back isn't straight and he thinks I have scoliosis. So he sent me to a physical therapist. So I went to the physical therapist and I said, listen, my back doesn't hurt, but my wrists hurt. Can you help me with this? And my physical therapist, once again, maybe I'll get more into this in another time, but he educated me on the fact that my inflexibility, I'm very inflexible. I can't like if I try to bend over and touch my toes, can't even come close. Like, it's pathetic, right? And I'm like that everywhere as far as all kinds of flexibility. I'm extremely inflexible. And I always thought that was just like, whatever. Turns out it's actually a problem. And it turns out that ultimately, long story short, that ultimately is what was causing my chronic wrist pain. And so all I needed to do was learn where exactly to stretch, but more importantly, how to stretch. And by that, I mean, like, how long do you stretch for? What moves do you do between the stretches? And then how many times do you do, how many reps do you do? You know what I mean? Like, we're talking, you don't just like stretch it a little bit and go, yeah, that feels good, and then you're done. It's like you got to hold it for like 30 seconds, And then after you come out of it and move around a little bit, then you go back in for another 30 seconds. And oh, wait a second, this time I can go further. That's interesting that like it has such an immediate effect. So you go further, you'll hold it for 30 seconds, right? You come out of it, you do some moves, you go back in for another 30 seconds, right? You make it a whole thing. And I started doing that 3 times a day, right? 3 sets of 30 seconds, 3 times a day on my hands, and all of a sudden, I'm totally back to normal. And now I'm not even doing that many. Now I'm doing 30 seconds 1 or 2 times a day. And my wrists are just totally better. Again, I kind of want to do like a whole separate video about this because of the effect that it had on me mentally when it was a problem, and how much I think that contributed to like my inability to grow the channel beyond what I was able to do. Like maybe it wouldn't have worked, maybe it wouldn't have really done that much, but like I don't know how much more would the Twitch channel have been able to grow if I were also producing YouTube videos on top of it. But I couldn't do that because after a stream, all I could do was just sit around doing fucking nothing, just resting my wrists. I couldn't go on my computer and edit a video because of my wrist pain, you know? So I just had to sit there, and it sucked. Like it was so mentally taxing to just feel like I could not do anything productive for half of every day, you know? But again, point right now is that we're over that. And so now my hands are feeling great again. They're feeling like almost pretty much back to normal. Not totally, like I still got to do stretches and they still feel weird, but there's not pain anymore, right? And so I guess what all of this is going to get to now, what I kind of want to ultimately get to is, what does this mean now for the future of the channel? Well, the better wrists means that it is no longer a concern that after I'm done with a work day, I don't have to just sit around doing nothing for the rest of the night anymore, which means I can stream, right? So there, as I settle in more to this new life and schedule, we're gonna get into like let's talk about like what you can expect, right? Well, firstly, I'm thinking I want to be streaming about 3 weekdays. Right now, the tentative schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings, right? Tuesdays and Fridays that's me time or whatever. But yeah, I'm thinking, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings is stream time. Is that going to be a speed run? Is that going to be casual gaming? Is it going to be a speed run with casual gaming as a backup, or what have you? I don't know yet. It's all about like relaxation and fun now, right? And I guess that's the other thing to talk about as far as what to expect from streams. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then sometimes a weekend is going to be like the schedule, and then like the vibe, right, or whatever. Or what is my goal with streaming? Well, it's no longer to make a living, right? Because I got that covered. So now it is all about fun, you know? What am I doing for fun, right? Sometimes that's going to be speed running. Sometimes that's going to be let's casually play a game. And here's the most fun part, and my favorite thing, and something that like, as far as if you were to talk about numbers, it's the least good thing for me to do as far as like the viewer numbers on the channel goes. But once again, that's not my concern anymore. Drumming. I love drumming. I've always talked about like if you've been watching my streams and stuff, I talk about drumming all the time. And like the biggest thing with the wrist pain, like the biggest problem in my life really was that I couldn't drum anymore. And well, I shouldn't say that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing was like the mental tax of feeling like I can't do anything, right? But it was very, very, very significant that I couldn't drum anymore. And now I can drum again. I can drum on stream again. And I love drumming on stream. I love drumming in general, but I love drumming on stream. If you've never seen it before, there's a game called Yarg. It is an open source game that is like a clone of Rock Band. You know how Clone Hero is a clone of Guitar Hero? Yarg is a clone of Rock Band, and it's fucking amazing. And so I love playing Yarg, and streaming it is super fun because I can take requests and just share music and share drumming and talk about it. It's but the reason that I brought up the numbers thing is because I realized that it's like my audience is generally like if we're to say like who is the niche of people who have discovered my channel. It's people who like JRPGs, specifically on the PS1 mostly, right? And so how much overlap on the Venn diagram of people who want to watch drumming, how much overlap is there, right? And that's what we're talking about. But I just love drumming though. Like after sitting down just yesterday, I drummed for like 3 hours. And afterward, I was just, it's like I'm riding a high all night, after finishing up drums, where it's just, I feel so good after I do it. Especially because it's something where I really feel like, after I play a game for 3 hours, I had fun, sure. And like if the stream was really good, I feel good about that, But like after I drum for 3 hours, I feel like not only was it really fun, not only do I think it was a good stream, but I feel like I've built myself more. I feel like I've accomplished something. I feel like I've built my character up more because I got better at drumming, which is like a thing that I want to be good at, And so sorry, I'm getting off on a big tangent here. I'm sorry. Point is, what to expect from streams and more in the future. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, evening streams, sometimes a weekend. Sometimes there'll be speedruns, sometimes it'll be casual gaming, sometimes it'll be drumming, sometimes there'll be a mix of those things. And but no matter what, I'm going to be having fun, and that's the whole point. Now, what about YouTube? Look, I'm going to be honest. I always have ideas in my head about videos that I want to make, right? Just like I have an idea about like a topic that I want to talk about, and I would love to talk about it and make a video out of it. However, it's really hard for me to actually sit down and do it, right? Which is why this video is coming in the middle of December when my job started in the middle of July, right? So what I'm saying when I say I'm going to be honest is I'm saying I cannot lie to myself and to you and promise a bunch of YouTube videos, because I seem to not prioritize it in the end, as much as I fantasize about making a lot of YouTube videos, and as much as like I do want to have YouTube videos that I've made, do I actually mentally put it anywhere close to the top of my priorities in practice every day? No, it like never happens. I rarely actually make YouTube videos. So, I'll tell you, as always, I've got ideas for topics, and, there's things that I would like to talk about. What has always been the thing that I've always said is, ideally, right? Let's say I did have that work ethic, right? To be putting YouTube on top of all this other stuff. Every single time that I finish a game on stream, I would like to make a YouTube review of it. That's the idea, right? That has been what I've said since like 2016. How many YouTube reviews have I made since 2016? Like 4? Maybe 5? So that's what I'm talking about, where it's like, I like the idea of doing it, but I seem to have trouble actually doing it. Who knows though if sitting down right now and just yammering has gone a lot better than it normally does. Usually I have to either write a script or I have to do something live, and reviews never happen live, so it would have to be a script, right? Because generally when I sit down and I talk like this, it goes terribly. But hey, I actually think I did pretty well this time, just sitting down and talking for a minute. So who knows? I will take this into consideration and see what I can do. Reviews take a little bit more editing, though. You kind of do need to organize your thoughts a little bit better, and then like getting footage that's like relevant to what you're currently saying, right, and that kind of stuff. I mean, it can be tough. Anyway, okay, I think I'm out of things to talk about. But I think that, yeah, I really needed to make like a big update, right, to talk about. I got a job. That's why I don't stream during the day anymore. I got a house. That's why I stopped streaming completely for a while, because I was simply too busy. But now my hands are better and I'm getting settled in is number 3. So streams will continue with like the schedule that I said. But I mean, that schedule is subject to change, of course. But anyway, thank you so much to everybody who has supported me so much in these last couple of years, even before then. Thank you for watching and for supporting, as in like financially supporting me to be able to stream full time for that little while. I can't thank everyone enough for, that chapter of my life. But hopefully now that this is the new chapter, right? Hopefully I will still be able to see you guys around, and hopefully we will still have fun on stream. Yeah, I'll see you around, and hopefully we'll get some more videos also. I'm just saying that I'm not promising anything because I know myself too well at this point as far as that goes. But thank you once again, folks. Have a good night. Bye-bye.